Hi guys, welcome to Outpost 18. My name's Liam. This is Darklight Memento Mori, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Nephalim. So the Nephalim is a brute, basically. It's a barbarian, and it kind of does what you expect it to do. It's a tank. It will just run roughshod through things. It will just smash things apart. That's what it does. However, we're going to have a look at this and just see all the different skills available, because there are quite a few things you can do with the Nephalim. It's quite an interesting character. And to start off, it has one melee attack which hits on a 3+, which is very good. It's on par with the courtesan, but you'll want to increase that quite quickly, because you kind of rapidly find out that just having one attack with this guy can get a bit dull, a bit like with the Black Knight. You need to be putting out a lot of attacks because he can't do magic. So to some extent he's a bit of a one-trick pony. He's just designed to, crush things with a big axe or sword or whatever, so you want to get as much mileage out of that as possible. He has one ranged attack which hits on the 4+, which is pretty decent, though I don't suppose you'll be using that. A belt size of 2, which isn't fantastic, but it is better than some of the other characters. He has an initiative of 6, which is decent, so that's definitely worth increasing with like the City of Lucernia or Lucrania tattoo. That'll get that up to 8, which is really good. You could put a lantern on him, take it even higher, but there are probably other things that you'll want to carry. He's got a movement of 5, which is above average. It's really good. I think it's the highest out of all the characters as a base starting movement. He has a colossal health of 18, which he needs, frankly, but it is really good. Sanity of 7 is not bad, and he starts off with a woodcutter axe, which from memory does 2d6 damage, which is colossal, which is excellent for a starting character. I think it may even do cleave as well, and he can have one consumable. So he's got, he does have a skill called the Nephalim Honour, which basically means he can't wear armour, probably because he's too big to fit into any, which is a bit of a pain. However, because of the other skills he has, you can kind of live without that, and there's always evasion that you can max out on as well. He can't cast spells, which we mentioned already, but he's not really geared for that. He also has an interesting rule to do with fury points. So basically when he takes damage or wounds, he can generate fury points, or if he mitigates damage with his armour. And bear in mind he doesn't have a lot of armour. This is not evasion, but if he mitigates any damage with armour points, he also generates fury. So which works quite well with his endurance, which starts off at 4. That's pretty decent. And the rest of his skills, his strength is really high, 5, perception is 3, which is good. His mind's 2, which is pretty poor, but it's not like you're going to be casting spells or anything. His charisma isn't great, 2, and his agility is 3. But going back to those fury points, you can use those fury points to basically trigger other actions, which we're going to have a look at in a bit. So a bit like with the Revenant with blood wounds, you can do tricks with that. The Nephalim and the Exorcist, which has fate points. The Nephalim has fury, which is quite a neat concept. Basically he gets pissed off and he uses his rage to do clever things. So that's the Nephalim. So looking at the skills, we're going to look at some of the skills which kind of fiddle with these fury points first of all. Now he does start off with the ability to, what have we got here? Once during your turn you may spend 3 fury points to either remove 2 wounds or regenerate 1 stamina, which is excellent. So, but it does say to either, so I don't think you can do both of those in a single turn if you had enough fury, and there is an either clause on that, but it's still really good. So he can heal himself a bit and he can get some stamina back, and he's got plenty of stamina to start off with anyway. He's 4 because his endurance is 4. However, I do strongly advise that your first skill that you go for, and it's a level 1 skill, and it's brilliant. Once per turn you may spend 4 fury points to deal 1 extra melee or ranged attack. That is excellent because you need to be putting out more ranged attacks. I know it's 1 and it hits on the 3+, which is solid. You're going to get a bit bored, a bit like with the Black Knight. If you're not doing more damage than that, you're going to be taking out a couple of people a turn at least. That's going to help you do that. And then later on, as you kind of go up through the skills of the Accursed guild, you'll gain another melee attack, and then you'll be putting out 3. And those will be 3 devastating attacks. But get that one. Strongly advise getting that one. Now there are a load of others here. I'm not going in any particular order, but they're all to do with fiddling with fury basically. So you have Furious, which is a level 2 skill, so you may gain an additional 6 fury points. That's well worth having because you'll stack up fury points really quickly when you start taking the hits, and it's a shame if you waste them. And you'll want to be doing all these, you know, recover 2 wounds or gain stamina or do an extra attack. You'll be doing that stuff every turn, so you want to increase that upper cap. Later on at level 4 you get Battleborn, and you may gain an additional 6 fury points. So he can gain 6 to begin with, I believe, followed by that 6 there, and 6 on Battleborn, so you could go up to 18, I think, if my maths is right, and it usually isn't because I rely on other people to do this stuff. But yeah, you can have a huge upper cap if you really want to. I don't know if Battleborn's really necessary. I don't think you'll need to take it that high, but certainly you know, increasing it by at least 6 so you can stack up 12 fury points is a good thing. We also have Iron Will, level 2 skills, so when using fury to recover wounds, you may recover an additional wound each time. So instead of healing 2, you can heal 3, which is excellent. So I'm just going to take away that additional 6 fury for a minute and just pop that one there, because those are 3 really nice skills. And it helps make the Nephalim a bit more self-sufficient as well. He's not relying on healing from other members of the crew if you're playing in a group or if you're playing solo. And incidentally, this character can go solo. He will struggle a bit with certain creatures, demons, ones that attack the mind he's going to struggle with, but there are skills you can use to kind of close down those opponents quite quickly, which we'll see in a bit. Unstoppable, level 1 skill. Once per turn you may spend 2 fury points to gain 1 stamina or 2 wounds. So that effectively is allowing him to do his base ability twice, because I spoke about an either clause earlier. So you could heal 2 wounds and then you can go to the other option with this card, or vice versa. So it's quite nice. I mean, I would probably consider taking that, because every single turn you can be doing an extra attack, you can be regenerating 2 wounds, and you can get stamina back. So you can just blow through your stamina, take the hits, get fury, get the life back. With that extra card over there, regenerate 3 life with your fury, or recover 3 wounds. They work really nicely together. So they're 4 really nice skills that just keep your Nephalim going, and he becomes a bit of a beast. You got Roar of the Nephilim, spend 6 fury points, which is big spend, and yourself and all friendly characters within your map tile gain 1 additional armor until the start of the next turn. It's alright, it's not bad, but for such a high point investment, I don't think it's necessary. And you have things like exorcists with sensors and stuff, which can do that kind of thing without paying that high cost. So it's not a bad skill, but I think there are better skills which we'll look at. Adrenaline Rush, for every 2 wounds you cause while attacking, gain 1 fury point. That is good. It's really nice actually, because you're going to be causing a hell of a lot of wounds, and that's another way of increasing your fury much more rapidly, as opposed to relying on taking damage or mitigating it with armor points. So I quite like that one. You'll be generating a huge number of fury points and recycling them. Sometimes it can be a bit of a headache keeping track of them. You're going to probably want like a D12 or a D20 or something just on standby so you can keep track of these things. But that's nice, that's a nice skill. We've got, now I talked about earlier where he can get in trouble a little bit when it comes to characters who kind of attack the mind if he's on his own. So, but there are some neat skills which help you get around that. So there's leap. At the start of your movement phase, you may spend 1 stamina, which you can regenerate with fury, to leap instead of moving. Leap, move a number of squares up to your movement value, which is high anyway, 5 plus 1d3, so you're always going to get 6. You cannot be threatened while leaping. The first attack after a leap does +1 damage. That's really nice, and it just helps the Nephalim move around, so I'm a big fan of leap. It gives you a lot of flexibility, especially if you're playing on your own, or you just need to help out other party members. And if you don't have a crew which is running the manipulation spell, then that's quite useful. And then smash after landing, the next attack you perform causes additional damage equal to the number of squares moved during the leap. So you could add on like a minimum of +6 damage. So with a 2d6 weapon, plus the strength of 5, +6 for smash, and plus maybe another 1 or 2 from your weapon, you can be putting out a lot of damage just with one weapon that does 2d6 damage. And there are plenty of 2d6 damage weapons that you can go get out of the marketplace, and with those ones you can smith them up as well. So I talk about this a lot because it's so good, but if you get a demonite shard, some gold, as in gold from a gold item, like the Saints Vitaris or something like that is made out of gold, and then also some gold crowns, there's a few hundred, and you pound that to the blacksmith, you can craft a weapon so it does an extra d6 damage against demons, and most of the monsters in dungeons are demons, so that's excellent. So you go 3d6 plus a couple from your whatever weapon you're using, so they usually do plus 1, 2, 3 damage, plus your strength of 5, and plus the leaping smashing bonus, so which is huge, so that's really good. And it's also worth mentioning at this point that a Nephalim can hold a two-handed weapon in one hand, with a -1 to hit penalty. So that's great because you can have a big heavy weapon in one hand and carry a shield. And a shield is the only item of armour actually that he can use. You can't wear anything that gives him armour points, but he can hold a shield that gives him armour points, which again allows you to mitigate more damage and increase your fury, so that's good. And on that subject, when we start talking about holding big colossal weapons in one hand, there is a lovely skill called Legendary Arm, which means that you no longer suffer the -1 to hit penalty when using two-handed weapons in one hand. So we're already up to what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is it? 8 skills there maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8 skills there, which are all really good. And you're probably not going to go past level 8 playing through the main campaign, and yet we've only gone through well, not even half of the skills yet, so there's a lot of choices to be made here, a bit like with the Outcast and the Exorcist. A lot of difficult choices because there are lots of good skill cards. There's also Whirlwind, requires you to use a two-handed weapon that can cleave. You may cleave even when not killing your target. So the Black Knight has access to this as well. And again, that's brilliant. It's an amazing skill. Just being able to cleave even though you don't kill stuff is excellent. So now we're at 9 skills. Like, which ones do you not take? It's a tricky one. Now we've got Wings of Death. You may now dual wield attacks whilst equipped with two-handed weapon in each hand, because normally you can't do that according to his special rules. Without the -1 to hit penalty, so you may not add your strength to these. So whilst this sounds really good, and it is really good because you could have 2d6 +1 or +2 weapons in both hands, giving you 4d6 plus whatever. You can't add your strength on, and your strength is going to be quite high, and it's a guaranteed amount of damage. So given that there are so many good skills, I'd be tempted not to go down this route, because you're going to lose the strength bonus, and the strength bonus is consistent damage being added to your attacks. It can be really good. I mean, you could have 2d6 damage weapons plus X in both hands and smith those up at the blacksmith, and making each one 3d6 against demons. It could be utterly horrific, but I don't think you need to go to those extremes. I just don't think it's necessary, but it's a good skill, Wings of Death, so certainly worth considering. There's some more kind of Fury Point related ones here. So we've got Frenzy. So during the combat, at the beginning of your turn, roll 1d6 and add 1 for every trophy you currently have. So whenever you kill something, you get a trophy. So 1 to 5 continues normal. So 6. So basically, once you've killed 6 things, you're going to be getting 6+. You are now in Frenzy. While in Frenzy, your attacks now deal +1 damage. That in itself is okay, but I wouldn't take it above any of the other skills we've just discussed. But if you do go down this route, you then get access to a Wrath later. While in Frenzy, you do 2 more damage per attack. So they're very good, but you're burning 2 cards here to basically do an extra 2 damage. And it takes a little while to get going because you've got to rack up a decent number of trophies first. So I personally don't think they're worth it, but they're interesting. They're not terrible, but I think these other skills are better. Now these miscellaneous ones we're going to go through are really, really good, and I think this is where you need to start wondering whether the skill cards I've put up there already stay or go. So we've got Windwalker, permanently gain an additional 4 points of evasion. That's really nice. Really nice, because this guy loves evasion. We've got Stone Skin, you become immune to prone, which is good, and gain a permanent resistance to both poison and fire, which is also really nice. Because poison is terrible, it really destroys characters, and fire's a pain as well, especially when you get ignited. So it's another good card. Running out of space there on the card holder. And then we've got the Spirit of Nowak. Once per combat, you may ignore the effects of one attack that has been made on you. You may flip this card to show that it's spent. Again, it's brilliant. It's really good. So you're in a boss fight and you take a horrible hit, you can just totally ignore it. Which one do you not take? They're all great. So you got some tough decisions to make, unfortunately. As an Nephalim player, he just has access to lots of really good skills. And then we get on to some which I don't think are worth it. Some are okay, some are a bit poor, but we'll go through them. So you've got the Spirit of Shuria, not sure how you pronounce that, but whenever the darkness roll is 1, you may choose to take 1 miracle at random from the 3 available types, and you may use this miracle at any point as if you were an exorcist without having to discard fate points. Oh, it's interesting, but it's so random that I don't think it really has a place, given that you have all these non-random really good skills. So I'd rather take something that's consistent and I know what I'm getting. as opposed to, you know, you roll a 1 on darkness every now and then and something weird happens. I just don't think it's worth it, but it's an interesting one. And then we got Guardian, which I quite like. If an ally adjacent to you is suffering an attack, you may swap places with them and suffer the attack instead, so you can get more fury. Can be used only once per round, so you will get a lot of mileage out of this, and gain 1 soul at the end of combat if you have suffered wounds during this attack, and you can gain a maximum of 5 souls per combat this way. So it's great if you're in a party, maybe you've got a Blood Witch running around with you or something like that and you want to protect them, great. So maybe in a 2-player setup this is useful. In a 4-player setup I don't think it matters, because I think you can keep squishy characters in the middle, have a front and a rear, and keep your Blood Witch centre. And also this requires the person you're bodyguarding to be adjacent to you. But it is nice, but I think it's more suited to maybe 2-player games, so maybe if you're playing on your own and you're going to take a frontline character, a heavy hitter like the Nephalim, and you want a supporting character, maybe the Outcast or something which just destroys things, then this might be quite useful. But not if you're going to be playing Leap, because you're just going to end up abandoning the person that you potentially bodyguarding. So I'm going to put it down there for the moment. It's a nice skill, but it's a bit situational, whereas the ones we've talked about and put in the card holder there are just solid. And you've got Headhunter. At the end of each combat you may choose to keep the head of one of your trophies. This is called a memento, memento mori. Large monsters count as 2, and basically as you stack these things up they give you effects until the end of the quest. So 1 to 2 nothing happens, 3 to 4 you gain endurance, 5 to 6 you gain endurance plus 1 strength, and 7 plus you get an endurance, 1 strength and plus 1 to hit, which is great. However, this is at the end of each combat, and in an average game of Darklight you're probably going to be going through maybe 5, 6 combat phases. It really depends on how many event cards you end up generating. So I think the best you're going to get is 1 endurance, or 1 endurance and 1 strength. And the 1 endurance isn't going to make a massive difference. The 1 strength, which comes into play after combats 5 or 6, it's just giving you 1 strength. And so it's quite late in the day, quite late in a dungeon run, and it's just 1 extra damage. So I don't think it's worth it. It's a nice idea, but compared to these other skills up here, I don't think it's necessary. So just to recap, because these are the good ones, and you're going to have a tough time of it here, you know, whatever build you go for, whether it's sword and shield, big double-handed sword in one hand, or whether you go down the dual wielding route. But Unstoppable, Iron Will, Furious, Rampage, Spirit of Nowak, Stone Skin, Whirlwind, Legendary Arm, Windwalker, Smash, Leap, and Adrenaline Rush. They're all really good skills, and somehow you need to pick what's right for you out of these. What we got? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 really decent skills. Aside from the Exorcist, this character probably has access to some of the best skills going, and hence I have a big stack here, and it's quite difficult to give you any no-brainers here because they're all really decent. So you're just going to have to study them, maybe map out a build, decide what sort of weapons you want to go for, and then maybe pick your skill cards around your weapon choices. And I would probably advise that you make that decision quite early on. So if you want to go for 2 big big weapons in both hands and you want to dual wield, then you pick the cards which are geared up towards that, and probably look at it that way. And you're going to have to be quite ruthless because realistically you're only going to be getting up to like level 6 or 7 on average. So anyway, that's my review of the Barbarian. Hope you like this. Again, if you have any feedback, leave it in the comments, and please do like the channel if you've enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll do some more analysis of Darklight Memento Mori soon. See you later.